Today I had a half day, not a half day, I got off early. Summer Fridays, yay. So I went and saw Love and Friendship, which opened last week, but I was unable to go, or opened in Atlanta last week. It's written and directed by Whit Stillman. It's based on Lady Susan by Jane Austen, and it reunites The Last Days of Disco co-stars Kate Beckinsale and Chloë Sevigny. It also has Xavier Samuel, who I love. He was in Twilight. He was in the third Twilight movie. James Fleet, who was in a bunch of the Austen movies in the 90s. Stephen Fry, and a handful of other actors who I am unsure I've ever seen in a film. I gotta say, I didn't love it. It's got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Literally one person didn't like it. I didn't read any reviews, though. I just know that literally one person didn't like it. And to say I didn't like it isn't to say I hated it. I don't think it's a terrible film by any means. It's a very witty film. It's a very funny film. It's very well acted. My main complaint, and it lasted throughout, was that film is, for me, and I think the intention of film is to be a visual medium. I want my eyes to be in awe of what I'm looking at. I want it to be framed like a painting. I want it to be done in such a way that it could not exist anywhere but on film. I want it to wow me. And when films are not framed well, when films are not filled with visual cues, I find it really hard to stay focused, because mostly I'm thinking, why did you put the camera there? Why is this obscured right now? Like, why doesn't this look pretty? I want my films to be pretty, I guess, is what I'm saying. Or if they're not, pretty, I want it to be artistically not pretty, and there was just so many times where the camera with placement, I was like, no one would make a painting that looks like that. Why would you make a frame of a film look like that? It just was frustrating to watch, and that's all I could think about was how not pretty anything was. And I know London at that time was not pretty, but like, you can film not pretty in a pretty way, or at least in an artistic way. And maybe, I haven't seen the Young Yuppies in Love trilogy in a while, so I don't remember if his framing was any good in that or not. But it was, I guess because it was contemporary, I wasn't really paying attention as deeply, although I do pay attention to framing in contemporary set film as well. But I just couldn't get over the fact that I just thought it was framed terribly. It felt like it looked like a TV film almost, in a bad way. I mean that in a bad way, like an old TV film. Like some of those old Jane Austens from the BBC where you're like, yep, this was filmed on a TV budget. And it was, it was Amazon Studios, so I don't know what their budget is. But I just want I want to enjoy what I'm looking at, and I just didn't. And there were some costume choices where I was like, did you really put her in that color? What? I also, I don't know. I get that this is earlier Austen, before it was very romance entangled, and I've talked a lot with a friend of mine who is an Austen scholar, so she sort of filled me in. This is one of the few Austens that I haven't read. So she sort of filled me in on how this is going to be very different, and that it's not all lovey and romance and what have you, like Mansfield Park or Sense and Sensibility or any of those. But I still want to come out of an Austen shipping somebody, and I guess that's on me and not the film, because the story is not, you're not supposed to ship anybody, I guess, but I still want to ship people in a movie where people are getting married, even if the point is to show that marriage is, at that time, more about finance and economy than romance. I still want to care about somebody, and I didn't care about any of the characters, so that was also difficult. So if I'm not being wowed by the visuals and I don't care about any of the characters, it's hard to, love a film, even if the dialogue is great. And I love Kate Beckinsale, but I just didn't love this film. I guess, I don't know. I'm started hating all the movies again. Which was why last year I only watched films by women, because the previous few years I was feeling underwhelmed, and now I'm going back to watching movies by men again, and I'm being underwhelmed again. And I don't know if I went back to just watching films by women, if I would be less underwhelmed, or if it's just I've burnt out. I don't know. I liked The Lobster last week, and that was written and directed by a dude. I don't know. I'm having issues with film right now. But I have to go brush my cat because it's really hot and she's shedding and there's cat hair everywhere and it's really gross. So I'm going to go do that with my Friday night because I have a life. So I don't know. 99% of the people who saw this movie enjoyed it, so you probably will too. You should give it a shot. I do like Whit Stillman generally. I give this like 2 shrugs up, I guess. I don't